it may be harder to get liquor in Colorado. No,
Oh.
I'm not kidding. This is real. So last week, the governor of Colorado signed into law legislation that prevents the state from issuing any new alcohol licenses, specifically the license that is called a liquor license drugstore. Mainly, those are going to be grocers and big box retailers that also have pharmacy. Now, the legislation does allow current license holders to renew it because they do expire usually yearly and they have to renew it. So that's okay. So if you already have a liquor license, you're fine. But it basically prevents any more grocery stores in Colorado to basically gain permission to sell hard liquor. Now, there are currently 36 liquor license drugstore licenses, which are currently held by retailers in the state. And the majority of those are your large grocery stores that have a pharmacy on the premises, which is kind of funny to me because most pharmaceuticals say don't take with liquor. So the fact that you have to have a pharmacy in order to get a liquor license is kind of humorous. But now back in 2022, Colorado voters approved on a ballot initiative that they wanted to allow licensed grocers and convenience stores that currently sell beer to also sell wine. And that is not going to be impacted by the new signed law. It's just the grocery stores trying to sell liquor. Now, here's the argument for this. The people that are supporting the governor's decision basically say that this law protects small liquor stores. The opponents are saying it limits consumer choice. But so the governor didn't actually even want to pass this bill. He said the only reason that it passed was because of overwhelming support from members of the state's General Assembly and small business entities that prompt him to approve it. This is a quote from the governor. He said, "I believe this legislation could take Colorado in the wrong direction. I would have preferred an approach that did not eliminate an entire liquor license type going forward or limit consumer choice and market access." So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So one, it's not like they've been overrun by grocery store, liquor store situations here. It's
right,
36.
There's only 36 of them.
Right. I kind of understand wanting to protect like the small business aspect. I do get that.
Well, I will say that liquor licenses in different states are so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So I used to live in Florida, and for the longest time, you could go to a grocery store and you could buy beer or wine inside the grocery store. You had to physically leave the grocery store and walk next door and go in to a separate liquor store owned by the grocery store.
Okay? By the same company. It's the same company.
It's the same company.
Different little.
Like it had like a little 20 foot by 20 foot little liquor store. Okay. And so I can't tell you how many times you would go into this liquor store and you would see people with a grocery cart full of groceries that they just paid for next door, you know, coming over to buy their liquor. But, you know, it's so humorous because what was that stopping? It was not slowing down the number of sales. It was just really making like a bigger hurdle to get, you know, liquor. And then it just was humorous because you could buy beer and wine in the store, but anything harder than that. And it included even things like malt liquor, you know, this back like, you know, 10, 20 years ago when like everything was Smirnoff Ice and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it had more alcohol than like a wine cooler, it was considered hard liquor. And so you could tell how old I was when I was going to the liquor store. But the other funny thing is there are, I live in a very small town, and we had a thing where I live inside city limits, and there was a Mexican restaurant that forever could not sell any liquor at all. Okay, could not sell beer, could not sell wine, anything, because they were in city limits. Okay, so at one point they actually were thinking about moving a quarter of a mile down the road so they could get out of city limits and they could have, you know, the ability to sell beer and wine and liquor, because who goes to a Mexican restaurant and maybe, you know, I would think it's a very common thing to get a beer or, you know, whatever at a restaurant.
Well, I mean, but it varies.
Eventually get a liquor license, but it was so funny because it was like provisional. Like at first they could only sell beer, then like They added the addition of wine, and it
Like,
took like a full year to where they could actually sell like a margarita. Like, I mean, it was hysterical.
what does it change? Like, is it bringing the riffraff out to like, I'm coming to drink your beer? Like, that's kind of the point.
It is out in the boonies, okay?
Right.
Not like it takes much to get people to drunk drive, but I'm just saying, like, what's the point? Like, I get the whole protecting small businesses, but how many small liquor stores do they have? Do they have
Right.
one on every corner? And,
Too many, apparently.
I mean, I'd love to pull up the census data of how many liquor stores per capita they have. Like,
Don't tempt me to a good Google.
besides helping small businesses, I mean, what about other small businesses? You don't see them making rules saying that big box retailers can't sell furniture. So that way the smaller retailers of furniture can sell it. You know what I mean? Like, where's the cutoff? You
Right.
know?
Like, where do you
And
draw the line?
yeah. So
Why is that small
it seems
business
like a
protected?
strange thing, but
Right.
I do give it to this governor of Colorado because even though he personally was not a fan of the law, he decided to go with what the majority said. And that's the way government is supposed to work. Governors, in reality, are kind of supposed to be unbiased, that when laws come to them, if they are passed, they are supposed to be signed. So I give it to him for Colorado for that. But if you live in Colorado, tell me down below, is this like an issue that you've seen? Are small liquor stores going out of business? How is this going to affect your daily life? Because I feel like this is just a little crazy to me. So let us know down below.